Good evening, special guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Voices of Celebration, a special event commemorating the 100th anniversary of International Women's Day. My name is Colleen Garrow. I'm the volunteer chair of the Halifax Action Circle, which is the local Amnesty International group. Amnesty has long been involved in women's human rights issues, and key campaigns lobby to put an end to violence against women, to pressure the Canadian government to address missing and murdered Indigenous women, to put an end to women dying from complications due to childbirth in our maternal mortality campaign. But Amnesty has taken human rights one step further last year with its Demand Dignity campaign, and for the first time is looking at poverty as an issue of human rights, one that is as important to all people, regardless of gender. Locally, Amnesty supporters were interested in supporting women's issues, so when we discovered that this year was the 100th anniversary, and I have to say that I was really surprised that we had a day before we were actually people here in this country. We knew, though, that we had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get involved, and so tonight's show was born. The Halifax Action Circle was very fortunate to have been able to partner with the Nova Scotia Advisory Council on the Status of Women, Oxfam Canada, and Mount St. Vincent University. We're also delighted to have RBC Royal Bank on board as our key sponsor, so thank you very much. In addition to these groups, we have a number of special guests supporting us tonight whom I would like to introduce. Now, it's sort of hard for me to see from the stage, so I'm not sure if you are all there. So I'm going to do my best, and if someone isn't there, that's okay. The MLA for Dartmouth South, Portland Valley, the Minister of Labour and Advanced Education and of Immigration, and most importantly tonight, the Minister responsible for the status of women, the Honourable Marilyn Moore. If you'd like to stand. The MLA for Halifax Needham and the Minister of Health and Wellness and of Gaelic Affairs, the Honourable Maureen MacDonald. The MLA for Halifax Citadel, Sable Island, and Ministerial Assistant to Nova Scotia Department of Immigration, Leonard Prera. Thank you for representing your brothers here this evening. The MLA for Halifax Clayton Park, Chair of the Public Accounts Committee and Liberal Critic for Health and Wellness, Diana Whalen. The MLA for Bedford Birch Cove, the Chair of the Liberal Caucus and Official Opposition Critic for Advanced Education and Labour and the Advisory Council on the Status of Women, Kelly Reagan. And I would just like to say that our tax dollars go awfully far. My God, you people have big portfolios. Is Alexa here? No? All righty. Well, I will say that Alexa actually helped us get this off the ground with helping to suggest a number of people to contact, and so although she is absent, a big thanks to Alexa McDonough. And is Dr. Lumpkin here? I'm here. You're here? Oh, is she? Hi. President of Mount St. Vincent University, Dr. Ramona Lumpkin, sitting way up at the back. Founder and director of the Seton Spirituality Center in Terrence Bay and Sister of Charity of Halifax, Evelyn Williams. Evelyn? Not sure. And MSB Prof and Sister of Charity of Halifax, Sheila Martin. Sheila here? Not sure, okay. We also have some special guests representing RBC here tonight. Wendy Sentner, financial planner with RBC. Thanks, Wendy. Elisa Alward, VP Career Sales with RBC. And Heather Hogg, VP Commercial Banking with RBC. Thanks, Heather. We have another silent partner in this event this evening. In wanting to care for our environment, Bullfrog Power is offsetting the power used by our event tonight. Woohoo! And just a little plug for them, if anybody is interested in offsetting the energy that they use with alternative energy, we have information in the foyer, which you can see during the reception. Now, time to get this started. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the person behind a voice we all know so well. She's an award-winning writer-broadcaster and the host of Main Street and Atlantic Airwaves on CBC Radio 1. Her first book, Homing, won the Margaret and John Savage First Book Award in 2008, and she is at work on her second book called Fallsy Downsies. Ladies and gentlemen, your MC for this evening, Stephanie Domet.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks, Colleen, for such a nice introduction. Hello to all the honored guests and ladies and gentlemen of the audience. I think this is going to be a really great night, and I'm delighted to be here to share this special day in history with you. International Women's Day celebrates the economic, political, and social achievements of women past, present, and future. It grew out of campaigns against oppression and inequality that women faced in the early 1900s. It began as a national day in the US after thousands of women marched through New York City demanding shorter hours, better pay, and voting rights. In 1911, it became an international day following a resolution at an international women's conference in Copenhagen. That year, more than 1 million women and men attended rallies campaigning for women's right to work, to vote, to be trained, to hold public office, and to end discrimination. But less than a week after that, the Triangle Fire in New York City took the lives of more than 140 working women, most of them Italian and Jewish immigrants. Now that drew attention to working conditions and labor legislation in the US, and that became a focus of subsequent International Women's Day events. Since its beginnings in the labor movement, International Women's Day has become a day of recognition and celebration across developed and developing countries alike. And on this day, you've probably noted, there's a hive of activity around the world as people connect at political rallies, business conferences, government events, and performances like the ones we're going to see here tonight. Many corporations have also started to move actively to support IWD by getting involved in community events. And we have a great example of that interconnectedness tonight with the event's governmental and non-governmental partners and the sponsor, RBC Royal Bank. There are two main goals tonight: to support the human rights work of Amnesty International, and we have an opportunity to hear the voices of women rising in celebration and in recognition of each other. And so I'd like to take a moment to introduce the first two voices to you. The Honourable Marilyn Moore is the minister responsible for the Nova Scotia Advisory Council on the Status of Women. She was first elected to the Nova Scotia House of Assembly as the MLA for Dartmouth South, Portland Valley in 2003. She was re-elected in 2006 and 2009. She served as the NDP caucus chair. She was the first female party whip in Nova Scotia. She was the first woman elected to a school board in Nova Scotia. She's a former junior high teacher. Our second voice is that of Heather Hogg. Now, Heather is the Vice President of Commercial Banking with RBC Royal Bank. She has a Bachelor of Science in Biology and Mathematics from Dalhousie and an EMBA from St. Mary's. And she began her career as a pediatric nurse at IWK Health Center before moving into genetic counseling. She joined RBC 10 years ago as a commercial account manager. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honourable Marilyn Moore and RBC VP Heather Hogg.